right, welcome everyone to round three. Let's tell our players that they are good to go. We've got the Overmaster at the bottom of your screen, almost at the top. Xenan Ultimates. I think this is similar to Roshi's deck, but I don't think it's the exact same list here. Got some Marius Mandrake action. Got a lot of those sweet Xenan cards that have Ultimates and Arcanum Hourglass.
Yeah, Theo's list appears to be different by playing Xenan Temple in it, and then also playing Dark Returns of Last Chance in the main. And then it plays the Xenan Life Speaker, which I forget if Roshi's playing, but I know the Boxer's playing.
Mhm.
So, some interesting takes, but overall pretty similar. Knows what he's looking for in his hands, and just ultimately going down to six. But the six is very solid, and almost was luckily able to mulligan up to 14 cards, so should be able to do a lot with that. So Theo probably doesn't want the Dark Return, really just wanting to. Well, the Dark Return's actually pretty interesting because you get to trigger the vines if you want, but then you're not playing the Hourglass on two. Lots of condensed decision making, but
Yeah.
Theo showing some prowess of the deck, just putting on top, knowing how they want to plan their hands, maybe ultimately planning for this exploit to be able to just turn the hourglass into the sigil you're looking for, so you could just dark return this turn, because you know that you're using the vow to be able to mill. From Almost side, just some relics and things to do. So able to
Yep.
do the traditional relic thing and just, oh yes, the
I got a
privilege stuff
privilege
play.
of nobility, yeah. So the enemy player can't make you discard or sacrifice cards. Ultimate pay 6 to gain 1 health for each of your units and each card in your hand. So a little bit of a display bug here. Has 6 cards in hand. Now this one is one of the new cards. I haven't seen this really played very much. I know that people were pretty down on it, but maybe Almost has found a home for it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice when just having a piece of cardboard that says relic on it is pretty relevant in your
Mm-hmm.
deck. So then you gain some nice incidental value there. And then, the courier in play, if you play one of these afterwards, then you get a sigil in your hand too. And it's um it's pretty low cost in this deck, and you're kind of looking for cheap filler relics, and then it shines big against cards like Exploit that we see here. Wow, huge
Hey,
raid.
yeah, huge raid by Gabby. Thank you so much, everyone, from Gabby's stream. I know a lot of you might be new to Eternal, so I'll give a quick explanation here what's going on in a second. But why don't you continue, Watch Wolf, and I will give a spiel in just a minute.
Yeah, no problem. So, hi, Magic players. So, so almost here, trying to figure out what to do. So no matter what relics you're playing, you're kind of chaining into more power. So you don't have to worry about the development there. Ultimately, you just need to think about what you're trying to do. So Theo is a little bit stunted on power. So just trying to figure out how to map the turns. So you know that the courier has a clean block on the dark water vines, and then you're able to use the bottle storm to kind of chain through your deck and maybe set up a unfair fair exchange after you can set up the clear the way combo. So choosing to kind of go for velocity in the deck instead of just addressing, say, the speed grafter right away. Really trying to punish Theo for the mulligan to six.
Welcome everybody again from Gabby Stream. I know a lot of you are probably Magic players, maybe haven't seen Eternal before. For all our Eternal friends, give me a quick second. I'll just give a quick spiel. This is Tuesday Night Eternal, so this is a weekly tournament series for the Eternal card game. We're in week 10 of 12, and then we're going to have a big invitational, which will qualify the winner to the 2021 World Championships. So think of it as sort of a pre-qualifier, a PPTQ, if you will, for the big World Championships at the end of the year. If this is your first time watching Eternal, definitely check it out. It's probably the game that's most similar to Magic. It plays out very, very similarly. Obviously, there's key differences, but it is very similar to Magic and how it's played and how the colors work and everything. So you may not know what some of these cards do, but you can hover over them and just imagine the game plays out pretty similar to Magic. And both myself and my co-host here, Watch Wolf, are both Magic players as well. So we try to get some references that make it easy to understand. But we are in round 3 tonight. We're going to have 5 rounds of Swiss followed by a cut to the top 8. So we got a couple more hours here, but welcome everyone. Feel free to hang out, ask any questions in chat, and we're happy to have you all here. And thanks again, Gabby, for the raid. Really appreciate it.
So back to the action, Theo ends up finding the power and then being able to have this Grand Suppressor. Grand Suppressor stops some of the fair exchange shenanigans and
Hmm.
almost was able to churn through their deck by using the lobotomy to sack the Bottled Storm, or no, they just used Pitfall Trap the previous turn, I think.
Hmm.
But now has the Clear the Way combo and can get any card from the market that, well, I mean, it is on the market, so you can get any of the things. So you can get, let's see, Hammerhand doesn't work, Azendel's not great.
Pretty nice
Probably just get
to
a Kairos
so
and
Lethrai
get.
Lobotomy, sacring a relic to
Oh,
kill
right,
an enemy
right.
unit, and then Bottled Storm when it entombs, when it goes to your void, draw 3 cards. So killing an enemy unit and drawing 3 cards, pretty good deal there.
Right, and then since you have the power and Pitfall Trap, then you're still able to play the Clear the Way and Fair Exchange and still get your summon triggers.
And then actually using the Pitfall Trap to ping and pop the regen bubble on Darkwater Vines. And then, yeah, playing Clear the Way, getting a pair of 3/6 endurances. And when it hits the enemy player, play a Sentinel from your hand. Pretty sweet cards there. Those are going to be tough for Overmaster to deal with here.
Okay, so leaving up the Fair Exchange because you can kind of just use it on the end step and then kind of see what Theo is presenting. Don't just throw something out there to get sent an agent, like have full information and see if you can set up a nice combo kill. So you can do one of these unfair fair exchanges where you're turning this 3/6 that you got pretty much for free, and then you just get to untap with a ton of power. Then you can ship the other one into like Hammerhand or Azendel or Snow Crushed Animus and just go to town really.
Yeah, and that's a big one. Getting Kairos out, that's part of that combo that you mentioned. Kairos Grand Champion, 9 cost 12, 12 plus 6 power. When you play another unit, it deals damage equal to its attack to an enemy and summon draw cards. So drawing a couple cards, dealing a bunch of damage, keep drawing more cards. Pretty tough. It seems like Theo's in pretty tough shape now. They do have a Xenan Temple, which is a great card, but almost feels like the damage has already been done. No pun intended for the almost, but and that's going to wrap up game one. Almost is going to take the first one here over the Overmaster. Let's head out. We're going to update this deck list here. Sorry about that, but let's check out Almost's deck list while we are getting them set for game number 2. Just a reminder that all of these matches tonight are best of 3. So Almost going to take the first one here. So for faction, clear the way. Talk us through this one real quick while they're getting set up.
Yeah, so we kind of see a marrying of two archetypes. So there's a typical relic shell that is in, say like the rats version that plays rat cage and whatnot. So here we cut the rat cage, but we keep the pitfall trap and the courier, um, and Severin. But then you also get this like other side, which is the fair exchange shell, where your goal is to play clear the way with a bunch of cheap relics, and then you can exchange into one of these fatties in the market. So and they just naturally fit together because
Yeah.
a lot of them are just relics. And then the cool card for me here is actually the Tayana. The Tayana is like pretty
Yeah.
cool at stopping other relics while also helping your own chain go.
Absolutely. All right. The Overmaster being on the play here, going to scout to the top. Let's see. We got a Defile we're looking at on the top of the deck. We're going to scry that on top. Yep. Going to keep that on top. Keep that cheap removal spell on top here. Almost has a pretty good hand. A little slow, but they've got to calibrate and they've got a Lithray Courtier here. Arcanum Hourglass at the play on turn 2. At the start of your turn, play a random power card from your void. So that's going to help the Overmaster ramp up here pretty quickly. Going to basically get an extra power each turn. But that's right here for Almost is also going to be a pretty good one. Whenever you play a Relic, draw the top power card of your deck. That's going to be pretty good. But Theo's going to take that out with that quick Defile that he left on top. Heads up for leaving that on top of the deck.
Yeah, it's pretty important for Theo to be on the play if they're going to play an hourglass because on the draw, the Tayana could silence it and then it's just not doing anything. Well, one thing that is tough for Theo is when you top that Defile, you're stopping some of the engine cards, specifically the Courtier,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the Tayana. But the problem is you really need an ultimate card to get going. Finding one on the top, off the top, and you do have quite a bit of ultimate cards, but still like an educator risk that he was willing to take, or they were willing to take.
Yeah, Marius Mandrake ultimate abilities cost half as much to use. Gonna need to get some ultimates to turn that on. Pretty close, not quite there to Tormentor, which normally costs 20. Now only costs 10 to get that Tormentor, but Theo's still only at 7, so a couple turns away from that happening.
Well,
Notably, they also have a Ascendant Agent here, which can take out one of these relics if needed. Do these double up? Do these pair up? Is this going to cost
yes.
5?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So next turn you just get to
Wow.
do it if nothing happens,
Oh,
but something can
unfortunately, took
happen.
that out. I did not realize those stacked. That's pretty impressive. Gonna get gonna get the Tormentor down for 5, which would be pretty busted. But that's not gonna happen. Almost gonna take out that first Marius Mandrake and get an 8/8. Big beater.
Yeah, if you do end up playing Theo's deck in this sort of matchup, just know that with the Waystone Gate and Bottle Storm, you don't want to kill it on the opponent's end of turn because they would still get the thing, because
Mm-hmm.
even though you're the one that's killing it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit unintuitive because usually when it's dying on your turn, it's because you sacked it.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point, though. It's got to look out for those lines for sure.
Another thing that's not intuitive is the Gladiators multi-faction. It's Praxis.
It is true. All right, here comes another left right courtier here. The Overmaster
Okay,
only.
so
There you go. The
it's
Druid
time.
Power. Yeah. Thanks to that Arcanum Hourglass and then a power off the top was actually able to ramp up into 10. So that's going to get the Overmaster drawing a card off of Mandrake and getting the Tormentor. So 8/8 Flying Charge Overwhelm at the start of your turn. If the Tormentor's in your void, play a 1/1 Spitling. Getting it
Uh-oh,
there.
unfair exchange.
Fair Exchange going to go swap that out for Azendel Revealed. That's a big boy. Going to come in with these 2/1/1 Helices. Let's draw 2 cards off the top of your deck. Xenan Life Speaker and a Send an Agent.
Oh wow. Okay. So almost is just trying to figure out a way to push this advantage the most efficiently. So just having more units in play. You don't actually have to kill the Tormentor if you don't want to, because it still has to stay back on defense. So just pushing this advantage, playing some deck thinning aspects, and then you can always just play the Send an Agent whenever. You can just play it next turn. That way they don't get the token. So Theo just has the Mandrake, so the Dark Return's not great.
Yeah.
You could try to exploit, but
Actually,
it's
you took the Courtier too.
oh
That's not really gonna. It's not really gonna do anything.
yeah. Hmm.
All right, gonna fire off that exploit here. I guess almost might as well send an agent now.
Yep, but now there's not a 1/1 in play from the Tormentor being in the void.
Yep, that's smart there to wait on that. No plundering, I assume here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you kind of wish that you drew a sigil
Yeah.
or a power, that way you can plunder it.
Yeah, you wanted to drew the power, so you basically get a redraw, but not going to be able to do that, and you don't need a 12th power at this point. So awkward
So
hand a little bit for Theo. Need to get an ultimate train going to start drawing some cards off of this Mandrake. Gonna fire off Send an Agent to take care of the Relic, get rid of that Waystone Gate.
yeah, one thing in theory you could have done is you could have just gone back to Tormentor and shoved for 9 this turn and just try to make it about that and hope the top billion cards of your deck are sigils and stuff like that. Or really just however many they attack with. But Theo feeling like, oh, sorry, I thought the Tormentor cost 8. I didn't realize it cost 10. All right,
Yeah.
you have to do this then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good draw for almost as well. Unfortunately, they don't have any relics, but Lethrai Robotomy can answer that Tormentor again. But gonna
We'll
need a
just draw
relic to
one
be able
from
to do that.
Theo.
Yeah, draw an Arcanum Hourglass here off the top would be fantastic. All right, let's draw Send an Agent also answers it. Dark Water Vines and a Mask of Torment. So, I mean, which direction do you want to go here? Play the Mask of
Make
Torment,
it
play your power,
stop.
and do anything you want. Yeah, this seems tough. This seems like a tough matchup for Theo here.
Yeah, just you're not able to fight on the same axis of unfair as almost deck, and yeah, really just putting on a clinic. Do you think it's weird that always cheer for almost because we use the same avatar and no one else really does?
I always go
Like,
with the classic simple one as well. Uh,
yeah,
I-
we're soul buddies if we use the same avatar.
All right, well, here comes the Tormentor for Theo, but as we know, almost has multiple answers to that in hand. And I think that might just be lethal here. But I'm going to start with Severin the Mad Mage, going to get some Relic. And here comes that Send an Agent. That's going to take out this Tormentor for good this time. And that's going to be it. That's going to be 2-0, courtesy of Almost. So congratulations to Almost for taking that one. Welcome back to the booth, everyone. Congratulations, Almost, on taking that one 2-0 over the Overmaster.